Okay, let's look at some players here. All right. And I'm going to show you exactly how to get consistent. There's a caddy down in the foreground, and you can see he's lasering the ball right to the caddy. Okay, that's Ben Hogan. See here, I'll mark the target, and you'll see the ball, you know, goes basically on that line. Not basically, it goes right on that line. Okay, and the ball drops by that point. Flies very straight. You know, it's compressed. Same thing with Lee. You know, I use Lee as the model all the time. Here is what he's going for. See that hole in the trees? He's playing a shot to go right through that hole, around the trees, and out to the street. You know, and all those shots, we're all doing the same thing, right? Watch his elbow, how it goes around his right hip. See? Right? It's the same every time. Watch my elbow as it goes around my right hip. That measurement stays the same every time. You'll see PGA people, and they always talk about the swing plane, and they'll measure it. They'll measure that plane and say, okay, follow that shaft up, you know, are you on plane? But watch the elbow. The elbow stays close to that line. Now it's on the line. And every time you'll see that shaft stand up in the same point. Okay? And it's for all good players. You'll see that again and again because they can repeat it. And I'm going to tell you exactly how we're repeating those shots. How do we hit it in the center of the club face? Exactly how are we doing that? It's not magic. You know, it is exactly just motions. All right? That's all it is. Right? Same thing with Lee. And you'll see his elbow on the line. And boom, his shaft straightens up and he hits the shot he wants. So it's not magic. It's not secrets. Okay, so the question becomes this. How are we doing that? When you put a good shot straight at a target, how are you doing it? We're trying to get consistency, so how do you do that? And some people say, I had it, everything was working, and then it was just gone. Well, it's always one thing. It has to do with your right arm, okay? I always say fold it up, fold it down, but that's not really what's happening because you're in motion. In space, you're 3D, you're not 2D. So what's really happening is this elbow, and you can watch all those videos again, go back to the front of the clip, and that elbow stays around your right hip, or left hip if you're lefty, but it's arcs around your hip, okay? So Hogan's real close to that hip when he turns. I'm a little farther out, but it's always the same. So the radius of your right hand stays the same. Your measurement to the ball stays the same. Okay? And your hand's path, you're connected to your forearm, your elbow. So your hand path repeats. It always repeats. If you watch Lee, he's going a little further out with his elbow. But we also move our hands. The elbow is arcing around that hip. Okay? I think you can see it here. And the club, of course, is going with it. Our hands, as we get to the ball, they go in and up. And you'll always see us finish
with our hands outside this hip, okay? So it looks like this. And you'll see that that's from the motion. You'll see that finish because of that. So if you want to have a consistent repeating swing, think about your elbow. Fold up, fold down is my trigger. You need to have one trigger, just one, not 20. So mine's fold up, fold down, but what it's doing is my elbow goes around that hip and I straighten the arm out as I want to strike. So everything's always the same, and it's with all clubs. The only thing is some of the clubs are longer, so your ball position moves out towards the camera. But the consistency of doing that, and you can get a lot of speed just with that thought. Okay? And I don't know if you can see that, but it's... And all I'm doing there is thinking about my elbow going around my hip. Okay? It's an arc. So that's one of the secrets. You just repeat that over and over with that just one simple thought, and you can hit the same shot again and again. The face controls the ball direction. So if I'm using subtle hand movements, I can make it go left, right, whatever. And as you can see, we love playing straight shots. It's real easy to play, in a fairway, and then play to a green, and you're down the middle, and you're not all over the place, and your scores get a lot better. And that's how I dropped 15 strokes in less than 2 years. And that's why I break par, and shoot around par all the time, actually less than par. And that's why I teach. People ask me, how are you doing that? And I learned. And I learned that as my trigger. And I saw it in all swings of the pros. They're all doing it. The PGA guys will tell you your hand path. But I can't exactly mimic that hand path. But if I think about the elbow going around the hip, now I can, and now my body reacts to it. And it's the same every single time. It just becomes easy. So you have one thought, you go out there and you play. Because you're hitting really solid, and because you're hitting the center of the face, it goes longer. The other secret, and it is not really a secret. None of these things are secrets. Your club is designed, it's a tool, okay? So I'm going to have you do an exercise. I'll show you how it works. Find the balance point. This is a pitching wedge, okay? But it doesn't matter what club. Find the balance point, okay? Pinch it there. Turn the toe up, okay? And twirl it, okay? See how easy it is to do. It will very easily go around. And if you look, if that's your swing, and I'm twirling it away on a 45, look it squares on its own, okay? It's doing it by itself, and there's no effort. If you want to change that, tip that toe off where the sweet spot's not in line with the shaft. Tip it to the side and try it. This thing is hard to hold. It wobbles around like a snake in your hand, and it just doesn't square, okay? So a lot of times it's as simple as that. Someone's going on a 45 and look at that thing wobbling all over the place. All right, so you got to know how the tool is used. So that's when I talk about the elbow, and you're going out on the 45, it's to get the sweet spot in line with the shaft so it's in balance, and then it squares in its own. Even if I'm doing it here in front of the camera, I'm not doing anything, I could tip it this way and do the same thing, and it wants to go, and then I'm rolling forearms. That's fine. Hogan used to go like that. So that's why these clubs work the way they do. That's why they're designed that way. And, that's just the way it is. If you do this as a drill, just look down, look over your hip, and just bring your elbow in an arc around your hip, the club in your hand, and just do that. You'll get this beautiful swing, and it's the same every time. And your body's just going to react to your arms. Now, I do say to squat more, because you've got those arms whipping around real fast, and the more you squat, you have a stable base, like shooting a free throw. You've got very stable, like a linebacker in football. Soccer players, get a little bit down. If you stand up, what happens is you'll pull away and you'll see the people go and hump like this. What that's because of is when you're swinging your arms around like that and you move, now your hand path has come out. You're reacting to, not having this elbow in the same spot every time. And your arm's not in the same spot. And you're inconsistent. Can't hit a ball. You hit the toe, heel, whatever. And you can't play good, consistent golf. You do what I say. You measure this, whatever you're comfortable with. I like in, okay? Not a lot. I'm not jammed in here like this with the elbow. Or it's just, put the elbow just behind your right hip and arc it. And bring it straight as you do it. It's like throwing a ball or anything else, That's the same motions. So try it and try to use the tool like that. You'll understand what I'm talking about and why we can do those things and shoot it like we can and hit targets. And that's what it's all about, is ball placement. The distance comes with the center contact, and that'll happen too if you get this consistent and, just do the drills, and you'll find your game goes way up and your handicap comes way down, because you go out every day. You're not searching. You have a swing. You don't hit balls. You don't have to do anything. You just go out and play, and then you learn the game.